happy. Am I live? Okay, I'm live. Okay, here we go. Okay. I have weird shadows on my face because I'm outside. The sun is shining. Hope everybody can hear me okay. I apologize for the delay. This is the first live stream outside. So for anybody who has been with me for a while, I had to get a new laptop because it did not have enough bandwidth for me to stream. And I wanted to be able to sit outside on my patio on beautiful days like this and live stream my show. Now, the other funny part is usually right about 6 o'clock, my neighbor decides that he wants to start. I gotta close out some screens, and that might help things too. He usually decides about this time that he wants to start mowing his lawn. So I was trying to get my over-the-ear headphones connected. They were connected. I couldn't get the the sound wasn't working here. So anyway, here we are. We're just the regular mic set up. We got this guy, and hopefully this will work. Hopefully my neighbor will not come out and decide to start mowing his lawn at this time. Anyway, so all right. So you guys, so 7, oh geez, and I closed out my notes. Ooh, I have been full speed gardening. The garden is in. I don't know if you can see the flowers. And then the big garden is right there. So everything's in. And now I just get to sit back and watch it and enjoy watching it grow. But I've been like on a rush because I'm going out of town next weekend, and I wanted to have everything in so that I didn't have to worry about it. I put in an irrigation system. That was a game changer. I get to come outside now in the morning, and when I come out in the morning, the irrigation's going off, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to stand and water my garden. So it's really lovely. And yes, Lily, the neighbor wants to get in on the podcast. I remember watching M.I. Gardner. He's because he got a really popular show. He's right here in Michigan. And early on, he would say, yep, there's my neighbor. Every time he goes out, did not matter what time of day, his neighbor came out with the lawnmower. So, all right. So our topic today. So here's the thing. We did the last 7 weeks was the top 7 trends of 2026, the top 7 health trends of 2026. And so for whatever reason, then if you remember, I skipped a week in there, and because I wanted to I gotta switch accounts here. I skipped a week in there because I had to do allergies, if you remember that. So we skipped, did allergies, came back, and I was thinking that today was week 7, or the 7 in the series. And no, we finished it. I don't even know if my mute button worked. Yes, M.I. Gardner's great. I used to follow him a lot more. I had the opportunity to go over to his farm one day and thank you, Lily, and spend a day with him, with my friend Bill Nash from Nash Nurseries. And Bill went and was teaching his staff how to graft. And so Bill asked me to come and help. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So I got to see his whole operation, and he's got a really pretty big operation going. So that was really cool. So Disbanded Brotherhood says it worked. So maybe my mute button worked. Awesome. Thank you. Tio Mimo, welcome in. So we finished all 7. And then I thought, well, you know what do we do from here? Where do we go? So that was really the today's topic, the future of healthcare. It's not just a trend. I think that really brings all of the 7 weeks together. All of these things that are actually trends, and where is that taking healthcare into the future? What is that going to look like for everybody? And of course, the biggest thing that we have to concern ourselves with is AI. And why is AI a problem? So we're gonna say it's a blessing and a curse. Hold on, let me get over to my notes here. Sorry, I came screaming in hot. My neighbor stopped by to pick up some stuff, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." Okay, why is that going from the trend 5? Okay, 4. We've got a few trends here. Okay, so I mean, if we think about this, 5 years ago, nobody was talking about GLP-1s. That, you were on a GLP-1 if you were diabetic. That was, that was the whole thing there was that if you were diabetic, you're on these GLP-1s and you didn't even know about them unless you had some, autoimmune issue. And really, no one wants to be diabetic. Diabetes is a terrible disease. It's a pain in the butt. It's very dangerous disease to have. And so now we're getting people just taking these drugs just for weight loss. And it's like, well, if you don't have a health issue, anyway, I think that was a whole different episode. Tio says, "Were you letting the dog get the Amazon driver again?" Nope, not today. I don't think so. I don't know. He's over there somewhere. I don't know. He's on his electric fence, but the Amazon driver does not know he's on an electric fence. So it just looks like he's going to run up and, well, when the driver gets close enough to the door, he can then run up and lick the driver to death. So there's that. Um, so let's talk about this first trend for the future. Again, just thinking about things like even 5 years ago, we didn't even know about AI. That was not a thing. I think, I mean, close to it. I think ChatGPT came on the scene in late 22. At least that's when it came on my radar. And that was really when people were like, oh, what is this thing? I started using it probably in October, November of 22, and using it for the very simple things. And kind of like when the internet came about, we used the internet to send email. We used the internet or our computers to type letters. Now we can use the internet for everything, for research and communication with people worldwide. There's no end to what we can do with the internet. And so here comes AI, and we end up using AI for these very simple things because we don't really know how it works yet. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, now suddenly it can run your life. So um, it can be helpful if you have questions. It's not a doctor. If you remember, there was somebody ran a test with ChatGPT, and it was they took a case and they tried a case with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT beat the actual human attorney. So, you know, I don't know that I would want ChatGPT as an attorney if I needed an attorney. I would want like a live human. I would want somebody who really actually knows what they're doing, who can be strategic, who can read the case as it's going in a sense of like, understanding strategy. Like that's where ChatGPT is not going to, it's not going to understand live interactive strategy. At least I don't think so. I could be totally wrong. But I think you guys get what I'm saying, where if you want to ask it some questions, hey, I got a mole, and you take a picture and you upload it, what does this look like? And it might be able to give you some information. But really, if you're that concerned, you should probably follow up with a doctor. So understanding that it's a source of information, it's not a doctor. it probably will be your first reach out to try to get a question answered with regards to some kind of health issue, and that's okay. Hey, I have a cold. Is it a cold? Is it viral or bacterial? How do I know? It might help you figure some things out. But people were Googling that stuff before too. So we had Google for that, but now we have AI. And AI can give you great information. It can recognize patterns. So that's, if you put in a series of symptoms, let's say, it'll be able to recognize those patterns and what exactly it might actually be. It can pull those clusters together and perhaps come up with a diagnosis. But diagnoses don't always help with the issue. And this is where we've talked about this in chiropractic. Like, I don't care what your diagnosis is. It all there comes to a root cause that we have to actually pay attention to. That if you get a diagnosis of uh well, I'll use my a friend of my daughter's. She's got ulcerative colitis, actually, and I don't know what it is. This has just really come on my radar the past couple of days. She's got so many friends her age, she's 21, who have ulcerative colitis. And I'm like, why are all these young kids getting UC? Like, you don't really hear about this much before. And now uh colon issues, digestive issues, it's like the norm. So, and I don't think that we can blame all of it on hybridized gluten. I think there's a something so much more massive at play. And again, I haven't dove into it. If anybody thinks they have any information and has any links to anything you'd like me to resource, I would love to know. But I think it's worth exploring. But it was interesting because she had asked my daughter, she said, well, does your daughter treat would she say ulcerative uh, ulcerative colitis something, or ulcerative colitis disorder something? It was like splitting hairs, right? And I said, it doesn't matter what it's called. It's a gut issue, and I'm going to heal the gut, period. Like, I don't care what it's called. If it's an autoimmune issue, I don't care what it's called. I don't care if it's autoimmune thyroiditis. I don't care if it's diabetes. I don't care if it's Crohn's, colitis. I don't really care. I don't care if you have eczema. I don't care if you have I don't know what other autoimmune issues I'm missing, but you get the point. Is I don't want to put a label on you, because labels are that's put out there for the pharmaceutical industries to be able to give you medication. They take clusters of symptoms, they put them together, and they create a drug for it. So, it's like they created a drug for people who get up and pee too much in the middle of the night. Okay, you're supposed to urinate, and then when you get older, you might get up once or twice. It's kind of a normal part of as we get older. But you want to shut that down? You want to screw up the process of your urinary tract in order to just not get up to pee. And if you're getting up multiple times to pee in the middle of the night, there probably is a problem, but it's not the peeing that's the problem. Do you get it? It's like there's probably a kidney problem. There could be a gut problem. It could be a liver problem. It could be a chemical I mean, there's so many different things. So medicine has just gone the way of just myopic. You are this is the box you fit in, and if you don't fit here, then we go on. So you can get all this information from AI. But the problem is, what do you do with it? And how do we then extend beyond it? How do you get treated from it? And that's where actually working with somebody who specializes in customized care. Remember last week, we ended our series with personalized healthcare. Everybody's moving towards personalized healthcare. So they want to be able to take these things and be able to talk to someone like me who can look at it with this global perspective and then come up with a solution. This my daughter's friend, she's never been offered any holistic solutions for her ulcerative colitis that she's had since she was 12. She's 22. My daughter has another friend. He's 22. They just removed however much of his colon. And I'm like, you just ruined this kid's life because you didn't want to give any credence to there being a food and a nutritional component, a bacterial component, looking at the microbiome. We're still in this really antiquated way of looking at these things and treating them. And it's terrible. It's malpractice. I had a patient that I had worked with a few years ago, and she had ulcerative colitis. I'm just going to say UC. I can't say that. I can't keep saying it. So she had UC. Oh my God, excuse me, guys. I've been gardening all friggin' weekend. Okay, sorry about that. You're not boring me at all. At all. It's not you. Please don't take it personally. I love each and every one of you. Um, so she had UC. We did food sensitivity, did gut bacteria testing, did lab work on her, put her on a good elimination diet, got rid of anything inflammatory, healed her gut, healed it. And after about 3 months, she went off of this medication. She was in her 50s. She went off the medication that she'd been on for years. She's like, I feel amazing. I don't need the medication. Her bowel movements were regular. She was feeling incredible. And then a few months after that, she goes back to the experts at University of Michigan, and she says, I said, well, go take all the information with you, take all the documentation that we've done. She was like, okay, she was excited to tell her doctor that she found a solution to this. So she goes and gives him the documentation and shows him what we did. And he goes, oh, there's no connection there. There's no connection to what you eat and you see. There's no connection. That was just a fluke, and scared her so badly about not being on the medication that she went back on the medication. She was doing great. She was doing great for months, all just through dietary change, through nutritional supplementation, and off of her medication, just fine. You guys, it's terrible what's happening out there. So we have to be our own best advocates, and working with someone in the space that I work in with personalized medicine, that's really going to be your best approach to making sure that you are taking care of yourself in the best possible way. Let me read a couple of messages here. Tio says, maybe you can try chat LSD. Oh, I'm sorry, Tio. I'm missing the joke. ChatGPT is quite unreliable in my experience. It even gives wrong directions to get to places. You have to be so, you have to look at ChatGPT with such a slanted eye, like, right? ChatGPT are you correct? And so, if you're using it for serious things such as your health, pay close attention. Pay close attention. Lily says AI doesn't actually think or look up facts like a human. It predicts the next logical words in a sequence based on vast amounts of training data, human crafted guidelines, and live web searches. So, and it's moving further into that. And here's why. I think I've shared this with you before. If you think about what was out on the internet before, it was all information that was written by people. And now what's happening is when you go in and you say, give me an article on, I don't know, autoimmune thyroiditis, something. I don't know. You could, there's a little robin staring at me. Nature is fascinating, isn't it? I'm sorry. Squirrel, robin. So whatever it is, you could ask it to give you anything. And now what it's doing is it takes all the information that was generated from humans and it brings it together in its own language and it gives it to you. You then take that and you're like, oh, that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll just post that on my blog, or I'll just print that out and I'll give it to my professor. And so now we are losing very quickly. We are losing original content. And ChatGPT is literally cannibalizing itself, or AI, because now we have allowed it to allow us to become lazy. And we have allowed it to do things that we shouldn't be allowing it to do. And so now there's less, try to get my computer out of the sun. There is less original information out on the internet. So it is only pulling things, very little original information, and it's pulling more of things that it's created. So you have to think about that when you I remember for a while I was using it for to create copy for me. So if I did a video and then I wanted a write up about the video, and I would have it create the copy for me, and so it was my original content, me speaking in a video, but then I would have it create, I'd tell it what the video is about, and it would create the copy. And I put the copy in there. And if you know anything about, and if you're paying attention to how AI works, it all sounds the same. And so I really only did that for a few weeks before my daughter then screenshot something I posted, circled it in big red, and texted it to me and said, "Mother, stop." And I was like, oh, okay. And so now when I post something, I'm posting it. It's me. Um, it, it should be grammatically correct because I'm kind of a grammar snob, but the point is that it doesn't sound as pretty as Chat GPT would make it sound, but it's me, and it's authentically me. And you know it's my voice because you can tell it's not Chat GPT. You can tell when it is. It's very like bullet point, and it'll, say things like, "So here's the truth." It'll say, "But you're not broken," or it says these really same like stupid little one-liners. So usually if I see that, I'm like, "Oh, I really like your channel, but could you please not use AI to create your stuff?" So keep that in mind. You can always tell when somebody's, I'll say, cheating, because then when I had to start going and thinking about what I wanted my copy to sound like and look like when people read it, I was like, "Oh, oh, okay." My brain got kind of mushy, and so now I'm like, "Oh, I got to train my brain again." And it was only just, like I say, a few weeks that I was doing that. So be really, really careful that you do not let AI steal your intellect and your creativity and your authenticity. So keep that in mind. I know that was quite a segue from AI stealing, being a part of healthcare, but I think it's important to understand where it is in our world and how we're trying to use it and the implications of that. So, Tio says glyphosate may be causing UC and other issues like leaky gut. Yeah, I think it's a big part of it because testing a lot of people, and they're all super positive for glyphosate toxicity. So I think that is absolutely going to be one of the key markers that I'm gonna that I will look into. And it's hard to find the data. You wonder why. Let's see. I'm trying to click on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, Lily says young people are getting diseases and serious ones. Oopsie. I've got a lag here, I think.
Yes, you do, young lady. You might have to go back in the house.
Dang it. I don't want to go back inside. Don't send me inside.
Oh, you just want a tan, okay?
All right. I'm right. I'm gonna walk it inside. Let's walk it inside. Uh-oh. I'm plugged in. Hold on. Okay. Oh, Ken's no fun, is he? Yelling at me to go back inside.
Okay, you have to buy a Wi-Fi booster so that you can sit outside and not get the lag.
Ken.
Yes, dear.
Look at that. That's a Wi-Fi booster.
Okay.
And that's where I was sitting. And my IT guy insisted it was my, you know what? I'm going to sit here. I think I might be able to get a good, my IT guy insisted that it was my computer, and my computer didn't have the bandwidth. So that's the other reason that I'm outside, is I'm trying to test this theory that, it's not my computer. And those are professional. I've got one in the garage too, and it's horrid. So it's just interesting that, yeah, he was trying to tell me that it was my computer. It's not this computer, I promise.
No,
So
because as soon as
I
you
think
walked
it's the
up close
pups.
to your booster, it
Oh
all
wait, hold
stopped
on.
in the
I
perfect
walked away from my speaker and I
speaker.
can't hear you. Hold on. Okay, come back. Say that again.
I was gonna say, as soon as you walked up to where the repeater was, it was fine. So
Yeah,
it's
I can see my Wi-Fi signal is like strong right here.
yeah.
It's
Well,
not
you're right
looking good
under the
under my
booster.
chin though. I don't have
Yep.
good chin. I don't have a good look on my chin, but I'm just gonna go like this.
You're beautiful, Paula. Face
Oh,
it.
you're sweet, Ken. Thank you.
I'll let you get back to your show, young lady.
Okay, let me know if anything glitches again. All right. So, all right, I'm happy. I'm still outside. All right, here we go. Yeah, so I don't know what that is either, Lily. Young people are getting these diseases and I mean, you didn't really hear of UC, you know, when I was growing up. I mean, that was like, boy, if somebody had it, it's kind of like if somebody had Alzheimer's or dementia, you were like, oh my God, it was the one off, right? So sorry, I gotta go grab my water. Um, but now it's like every other person. And I think what Tio said about it being um glyphosate, that's a real thing. But then I did have a farmer say to me, I saw him down at Eastern Market, and he was saying that he thinks that glyphosate, not that it's a scam, but that it is. He said it got people away from the 2,4-D. That farmers were like, farmers were very much like, they just didn't want the lens put on the 2,4-D, and so they were happy about they were happy to get rid of the glyphosate class action lawsuits, because that kept the focus off of the 2,4-D. And I was like, that makes sense to me. I mean, but now they're trying to put the moratorium on being able to sue for glyphosate toxicity. So, who knows? Um, okay, yes, and toxins in food, all the crap they're putting in food, which is why I love to grow my own food and preserve it all. Um, Lily says common sense would have you go with feeling good rather than following the path that doesn't have you feeling good. Yeah. I mean, like, what? But the problem is, um, people are not given the option of what the path looks like to feel good. So I think that's where yeah, everybody wants to feel good, but then they're doing things that they think are the right things, but they're given the wrong information, and they're not given root cause information that helps them actually overcome these types of things and get to that actual like optimization of health. So um so that's the sad part, is getting the right information into people's bubble, into their awareness, which is again why please share, please like this video, hit the subscribe button, leave comments. I love your engagement. And I just we've got to get this information out and allow people the option to improve their health without having however much of their colon removed. Like, that's on a 22-year-old kid, you guys. Think about this poor kid's existence now. Like, it is heartbreaking that was where they went, that it got so bad that they couldn't even discuss nutrition with this kid because it's not in their wheelhouse. So really sad. Tio says psychological warfare for ego control and profit. Modern doctors don't even have to take the Hippocratic Oath anymore. They don't? I didn't know that. That's interesting. First, do no harm, in case anybody doesn't know. First, do no harm. Medicine is first do harm, like literally. Common sense isn't common anymore. wife and I can grow 99. Oh yeah, you've been here before. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate that. And then Tio says, I can't imagine how bad it's going to be with this generation of youngsters who are using AI for school projects. They won't know anything. Okay, interesting comment. And I got to say hi to the chairman, who I haven't seen in forever. Thank you so much for jumping in here, sir. So my daughter and her age group, they are completely anti-AI. They are completely against it. They want nothing to do with it. They use it very minimally. They recognize that it has the ability to, like, they think it's gonna like suck their brains out. They don't like the premise of it. They don't like what it's able to do. They don't like how it's taking over. And of course, these kids are all graduating from college and being told about how great AI is, and yet they're like, yeah, but we need jobs. So no, they do not like AI. Now, then there's, and I don't know if it's a generation below them, but my girlfriend has two kids, 14 and 12 years old. They love AI, because they can write their papers and they can cheat and they can, and this is what they do. And I did tell her, I said because, as I said earlier, AI cannibalizes itself. It finds its own information that it created that if you go on there and you go, write me a paper on the Civil War, it's not going to write you a paper based on text or something that somebody else did. It's going to write a paper based on all the stuff it created. And then if that's a smart teacher, which I think most of them are doing, they're running those papers through, what is it? Plagiarism? Yeah. Through like a plagiarism. So it's an AI plagiarism thing to let them know if this was an original, if it was original paper or not. So they'll only get caught doing that once or twice before they actually then realize that they can't do it. And even if it's like partial plagiarizing, because my daughter got tagged on that for partial plagiarizing of a paper in high school. And so she's like, yeah. And so anyway, they've grown and evolved, but I think the 14 and the 12-year-olds are really getting, sucked into that. So we've got to really be mindful of that. Chairman says, I think a lot of these illnesses that have recently popped up in abundant numbers was engineered on purpose. Just my opinion. Chairman. You mean like Lyme disease and that thing that happened in 2020 and yeah, like all that stuff? Yeah. Not going to disagree with you on that. And yes, super interesting. The youth don't like it. Like, it gives me hope, and yes, AI is taking over and will if we are not careful. So yeah, just be super mindful of that. Do not, like I said, I don't mind that you go in and you're like, hey, I have a mole or I've got this cough or whatever, but you should always follow up with a professional. So yeah, it's not going to take care of you in the long run. And then just to put a period on that, the second trend, which is personalized healthcare. And personalized healthcare, again, we talked about it in depth on last week's Sunday Night Live about working with somebody like me who can take that 30,000 foot view and make sure we're working on personalized nutrition. We're doing customized labs. We're taking a strategic approach to optimize your health and not just zeroing in on one tiny little symptom. If you have a symptom, I want to know, how far upstream do I have to go to figure out why you're having this symptom? And Dr. Eric and I talked about this in last week's Chiropractic is Sexy, is that symptoms are signals. Your alarm bells should be going off if you have a symptom, because that is a signal that your body is struggling and it needs some help. So let's see. Okay. And then the next trend is wearables. So I think, I didn't dive into the percentages of how many people have wearables today, but Apple Watches, what's the other one? The Fitbit. And then of course the Aura Ring, continuous glucose monitors. I know there's now diabetics have been wearing continuous glucose monitors for a long time. And of course now there's, um, information that says we should all wear a CGM. I don't know about that. I get like so I have an Aura Ring and I love it for to track my sleep. I do really enjoy the activity piece of it. Did I hit my steps? So I think that's helpful to have. It helps me with HRV, resting heart rate. It'll tell me if I'm too stressed out and I need to rest, but usually I'm pretty in tune to my body. And so I I know when I need to rest. I think it was one day last week. I think it was Saturday. And I was like, oh my God, I don't feel well. I'm super tired. And I think I laid on the couch all day. And I tell you guys that. I share that with you because there's days that I am just not feeling great. Oh no, wait, it was just Friday. It was Friday. I didn't go to the gym. I went to the gym on Wednesday. I wasn't feeling great on Wednesday. Woke up, was super tired, wasn't feeling great. And then but I went to the gym. I had a great workout, but I still had that dragged out feeling all day. And like I was so tired, I wanted to cry. And I had a meeting. And I came home from the meeting. I got home about 8 o'clock. I didn't even eat dinner. Like I think I'd had a shake earlier that day, and I went straight to bed. It was like 8:30. That was Wednesday. Friday came, and I'm like, man, I can't do it. And I rested all day. So I share that with you guys because I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, you have so much energy and you're doing so much and blah, blah. And I think it's because I do so much that I have to be that much more in tune to what my body needs, what it does, and what it needs. And so just having that level of awareness is really helpful. Yeah, this alpha gal disease is crazy. And, I saw somebody talking about it, and he was on a panel, and he was talking about it in the sense of how eating meat is, terrible for the environment. And so, how can we get people um, to get on board with that? Well, I think it would be helpful if we just gave them this disease. I was like, what? Did you really say that? We're just going to give people disease? Oh, but we can shoot rockets in the sky. We can launch rockets that explode. You don't think all that rocket fuel is interfering with our environment? What? No, we can launch satellites in the air. I mean, it's insanity to me, just absolutely insanity. Um so anyway, I digress. All right, let me go into so if you wear so a couple of things. If you wear a wearable, um now okay, the wearables, there's a whole conspiracy rabbit hole on wearables and governments tracking us and all of that. Um, Honestly, we're already in the system. Not that I care to be further in the system. I don't want it to sound like I'm one of those people that says, I don't have anything to hide, so what do I care? Not the point. If you knocked on my door and said, "Hey, we need to read your journals. We need to know what you're reading. What are your books? We're gonna look in your computer." Like if they physically came into your house, more people would be like having an absolute outrage. So I see that. Where was I going with that? Anyway, as far as the wearables go, you're being tracked. You're in the system. I don't know that I would stop wearing my Aura Ring, because it does help me. Uh, but then I'm like, what are they going to do with that? I don't know. I'm not ready to take my mental health there. There's only so many negative places negative rabbit holes that I'm willing to jump down. I do feel like that helps me. Where I think we have a problem is the watch trackers, and I've talked about this before, is that watch trackers disrupt your brain activity. So when you're having a one-on-one conversation with somebody and you get, buzz, 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 like it is disrupting your brain. It's disrupting the personal communication you have with somebody. And frankly, people are walking around saying, I have ADD, I have ADHD, whatever, and they're wearing Apple Watches. Get rid of the freaking watch. I almost dropped the full F-bomb on that one. Because you're creating it. You're absolutely creating it. And if you truly do have ADD or ADHD, you shouldn't be wearing an Apple Watch. Like, get the F rid of it. Okay, that's just my rant there. So Lily says, isn't it crazy? Talk about trespassing. Right. Yeah. I can't tell you how many people I've seen like on social media and they're like, yeah, I don't have anything to hide. I don't care. What do I care? But like I said, if they came knocking on your door and they were like, yeah, we want to read your journals. We want to see what you got. You'd be like, no, you're not coming into my house. So, Farmer Cheryl, hey, how are you? Says it's important to get more farmers to farm veganically. Can AI veganically? I don't know what veganically is. I don't know what that means. Can AI and robotics help with this? I don't know what veganically means. Been going on for a long time. Yes, too long. It's a training of short attention spans. It absolutely is, because it also destroys your creativity. It takes you out of your frontal lobe. This is where logic and reasoning take place. This is where all of your thoughts that are rational thoughts are right here in the frontal lobe. So when you are constantly getting zapped, that puts you back into a fight or flight mode, and it shortens up those brain signals, and you can't be creative and you can't think clearly. You can't make rational decisions. So get rid of it is my next thought there. Okay. Farmer Cheryl says, recently learned that vermicomposting is not veganic. Okay, so I'm guessing that you want to not just farm organically, but vegan plus organic, right? Okay, got that. But like, so if you use worms, or you're just talking about using worm castings, they're just pooping stuff out. You're not killing the worms. And they're good for the soil. So I don't know if you're saying that's good or bad. I'm not sure. AI is just the next supercomputer. It'll be phased out for faster, more control as the data. I mean, and hi, Mr. Sebobski. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I mean, think about our phones, and how, this little computer that we call a phone, how much space that would have taken up 50 years ago. Crazy, right? The watches are dangerous to your health due to electromagnetic radiation. I know people who've gotten burns on their arm. I also, ironically, I have no data to support this, but I'm just going to say it's an observation that I have so many patients come in and they tend to have tendonitis on whatever side they wear that watch, in their elbow, or in, issues with the wrist, carpal tunnel, something like that. And I tell them, I'm like, you got to stop wearing that thing. You're like, that is this direct electromagnetic radiation right onto those delicate tendons and ligaments. So let's stop using that. So, Tio says veganic is only using plant inputs for gardening and farming. Okay. Got it. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Vermicomposting is an animal byproduct, so it's a no-go in veganic farming. Okay. I guess I don't understand that, because it's an animal byproduct, but it's not harmful to the animal. It's part of the ecosystem. And that's typically, when you're using the ecosystem, that's what makes a healthier system, healthier inputs. All these centers will be useless in the future. Yeah, we have a huge data center going in right near my office, and it is, oh my gosh, it's been an absolute, show. Okay, so let's go into, that was wearables. So just being aware that you can get overly obsessed with wearables. Use them wisely, cautiously. And if you're going to have one, and again, that's another reason I like the Aura ring, is because I can't look at it. I have to pick up my phone and open up the app. I usually only check it once in the morning or maybe at night. If I've had some activity, I just want to make sure the activity gets logged, and that's about it. So yeah, you can't look at it, which makes it less obsessing. Um, okay, trend number 4, longevity clinics will explode. So this goes along with our customized medicine, our personalized medicine is, personalized medicine is really going to tap into your longevity. So this is where total optimization is going to come from. So regenerative medicine, so utilizing nutraceuticals, food as much as you can, possibly peptides. I'm not sure. I wasn't able to necessarily figure out if peptides are a trend or if that is actually meaning, um, like trendy, like will it go away, or if it is it something here to stay. I feel like it's so new on the scene that, and like I say, people have been using peptides for diabetes forever, but it's so new in the space that we're trying to utilize it that I feel like that's going to take a little bit of time to understand. Are they actually helping people? Are they harming people? Some of these other peptides, I'm not talking about GLP-1s. I'm talking about things like BP157 that's known to help regenerate cells and help with injuries, inflammation, things like that. So it's a bit overly strict in my opinion. Are you talking about the veganic farming? AI data centers generate massive electrical magnetic fields. Dude, it's less than a half mile from my office. Yeah. And there are homes. There are really nice homes right along the property line. I mean, people are so mad, like just literally slammed right in the middle of our town. It's yeah, it's a major, show. Peptides are often untested and unknown to the users. And that's what I mean. It's like, what do we do? There are some that have been around for a long time, used for injuries, used like a lot of them were used in bodybuilding over the years. It sort of was like when they couldn't use steroids anymore, what do they use to optimize? And peptides, so peptides aren't necessarily new, but like I say, they're new to how we're using them. So, we'll see how that plays out. But definitely people are going to be looking for more longevity type practices that are more personalized. Um, and then the next trend is direct pay. More people are coming to me and they're paying out of pocket because their insurance they either have a high deductible or they have very limited benefits. And when you look at what people actually need to help themselves heal, it's far beyond what their insurance is going to pay. This isn't catastrophic care. When you're trying to get healthy, when you want to be, when you want to just optimize your aging, how you age, and it's we've got to really consider what are we willing to pay for, and your insurance is not going to save you on all of that. But that's why I always go back, because people often are like, oh, I can't afford to go get IV nutrition, or I can't afford to go to the chiropractor. Well, Dr. Erica and I did about 4 episodes on Chiropractic is Sexy on low to no cost ways that you can become healthy. So I don't want anybody's excuse that you can't be healthy, because we laid out a whole bunch of stuff for you to start to clean up your life and optimize. So so I encourage you to go back and watch that. And so the other thing too with direct pay is that insurance companies they're getting just downright awful when it comes to reimbursement. So I had actually gone out of network with Blue Cross about 3 or 4 years ago now. Their reimbursement levels they just keep reducing the reimbursement. They keep increasing their audits, and Blue Cross can actually go back 5 years and audit you. So that means that they can go back and audit every single thing that I've done for 5 years, and if it's not to the T what they say they want, which they won't tell you, they can take back all the money. And I know docs that they've done this too, and I'm like, I did not want that target on my back anymore. So I want to be able to help people authentically provide wellness services that change people's lives without the fear of having some insurance company, this elephant come down on me and tell me that what I did wasn't right or legal, or I overutilized or whatever. So when I take care of somebody, when somebody comes in to me and they pay for a plan, I put them on a plan and they pay me money for that. That's a huge responsibility. And I do not take that lightly. And I am very invested, as much as they invested with me to work with me. I am equally, if not more, invested to make sure that they succeed. So it's really, it goes both ways. When you invest in something, you as the consumer, you are more invested in it. You're more like, it's like, if I give free care away, and early on when I was a chiropractor and I didn't know any better, when I was a baby chiropractor, and I would I'd discount, I'd give people a discount because they asked or I thought they needed it. A few people I took care of for free. And I gotta tell you guys, they were the worst patients, the absolute worst. They weren't committed. They didn't do anything I asked them to do. And I was like, and you know who the best patients are? The ones who pay me a lot of money, because they're more invested. Like they got skin in the game. So, and again, it's not that I'm willing to work with people financially, but you got to have skin in the game and you've got to be willing to stand up and do something for yourself. I'm not here to care more than you are about what you need to do to get your health together again. Trend number 6 is that food will become medicine again. I think food has already become, people are more inspired now to grow their own food, to preserve their own food. I think COVID showed us that, people were like, huh, I'm growing a garden because I can't do anything else. And that, that just like exploded the whole gardening and food preservation movement, where I think, like my grandmother's generation, they all canned and preserved food. My mom, and we still ate super healthy. We had all fresh food, but that particular generation, that was the bird's eye generation. That's when frozen foods came about. Now, my mom never fed us frozen vegetables, but that was that era. And so canning and preserving kind of went by the wayside. And then my generation came along. We're like, we want to can and preserve just for fun. Where, my grandmother's generation, they did it because they had to. Both of my grandparents, they had 7 and 8 kids, and there was a lot of kids. You had to preserve food. So, so it's just interesting how things have evolved, and definitely food has become more valued for people, especially with, as Tio says earlier, about the toxins in our food, and that we just have to be on top of it. We've got to make sure that we are just taking care of ourselves. So let's go back to some questions. Tio says bodybuilding peptides are the most commonly abused currently. Like which ones are you talking about? I mean, there's so many, it's hard to keep track of. Mr. Sibobsky says, so do vegans stop worms from being in the garden because it's not vegan? Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that. Like, there's a whole microbiome in soil. Bugs are there for a reason. Why would you not want worms in your garden? Like, again, that's an ecosystem. We're not killing. And like, I put compost in my garden. Cows pooped it out. Like, it's not abusive to the cows. They're not going to use their poop for anything. So I don't know. I don't get it. You're not getting bugs out of the soil. I don't know. I don't understand it, Mr. Sibobsky. I'm as confused as you are. Lily says research will have to be done by those who live or work by these centers to know how they can protect their health. Lily, I know. I'm not happy about it because I'm like, I'm so close to it. Fortunately, I don't have to live there, but I am there 3 or 4 days a week. The establishment wants to hide free healthcare people can use for themselves. Totally. But that's why we are here to expose it. It's a medical mafia. Yes, it is. Lily says, "Wise of you, Dr. Paula. Thank you for caring for your patient's health." Yes, that is how I work. The people-only insurance companies also own pharmaceutical companies and hospitals and care centers. It's ridiculous who's in whose pockets and whose beds. So I agree. Vegetable gardens, canning, drying, preserving, fermenting were all survival skills. Yeah, exactly. They did it because they had to. They had to feed a lot of people. So, and MKP007, welcome in. With today's economy, more people are starting to get into gardening, preserving, fixing stuff. Right. Yeah, the whole fixing thing. So my daughter is now inspired to fix things, and I have to, which I'm like, great. She's an artist. I'm like, let's learn to be, mechanical and handy. And like I installed my garbage disposal. It was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, and maybe 4 years ago now. I don't even remember. But I was putting the garbage disposal in, and of course I looked up a YouTube video, and I was like, I can do this. And so I'm like, I got it all done. Well, I did need a second hand because if you've ever done a garbage disposal, you have to hold the mechanism from underneath and reach up into the sink and do this. And my arms are not long enough. So I had to go across and get my neighbor. I was really bummed. I was trying to do it all by myself. But anyway, um, but yeah, like learning, and so now I have 2 faucets that need to be replaced, and I'm like, I can totally do that. I've installed a faucet, like, I mean, like it's been a while, but I think I can do it again, and I know she can too. So, Tio says, where are you? Tio says, people are already studying the radiation from AI centers and documenting it. Yeah, no, listen, I am very aware, and I see all of it. I'm in these Facebook groups, here locally, as well as like within Michigan and Oakland County, just to stay apprised of what's happening. And then I watch like things that are happening. So I saw another video. I don't know if anybody follows James Lee, LI. What is 4857, 4859 is his channel. You just look him up, James Lee, LI. He's got great info. And he did a show just a few days ago on how many data centers are there around the world. And I know I'm off topic, but I'll just say this real quick, that we currently have, I think it's something like 5,300 in the US, and we're slated for another over 3,000, like 32 or 3,500. China has under 400. And yet the narrative out there is we have to beat China in the AI race, when really, there's probably some deeper, more nefarious things going on. I'm just going to leave it there. But yeah, so we outnumber the world by like thousands. It's crazy. So I don't get it. I don't get it. Farmer Cheryl says the organic network says beyond being naturally occurring as in soils, most vermicomposting is done in confinements. Okay. I did not know that. Just say no to AI. Welcome in, Alex Chance. Nice to see you. Tio says we must take a stand against planned obsolescence. Yeah, for sure. I think just, again, sharing these messages here amongst ourselves. Hopefully, Alex says, hope you and Ken are doing excellent, Lily. Mr. Sebobsky says, I guess greenhouses and pots are confinements as well, which could not be veganic. Yeah, boy, I'm like, I don't know. That seems like a lot of work to me. I'm like, I'm just going to put as many natural inputs into my garden as I possibly can, so I can grow great food. It's all organic, and I'm just growing food. So definitely not indoor, right? Are we, is that for the veganic thing? We're hanging in there, Alex and I are, Hope you're doing excellent as well. Reading the latest book by Tim Sector called Ferment. Have just started making water kefir. AI can help us develop more ferments. I would love to make kefir. I make yogurt, and so it can't be that far off. I would like to do kefir and kombucha. I just haven't, it's just another thing to add, but I would like to add that. I was talking to my neighbor today, and she's like, I really want to grow a garden. And, she's looking at my garden, and she took down a bunch of trees. So she's got this, we would love more trees, but we had a storm just decimate all our mature trees here a few years ago. And then she had it all cleaned up. So it's just now it's just this beautiful open space that she can do a garden. And she's looking at my garden. She's like, it's just so much work. And I go, it is. But I said, you have to understand, this was an evolution. My garden was an evolution. I didn't just I don't know, my garden is probably 35 feet long by 20 feet wide. It's not huge, but it's certainly not a first timer's garden. I mean, it could be if somebody's really lofty, but it evolves. And I've got all kinds of herbs and stuff growing. Let's see if I can show you guys over here. So this is the back of my house, and there's all herbs. I don't know if I can, my fingers. Okay. So all the way, this is just herbs all the way growing, and I have dahlias growing in there too. So yeah, I mean, it's just a process. It just is a process. And it's an addiction. So once you start with something, you end up just piling more on. And yes, kefir and kombucha. Ferments are good. And MKP says, I tried growing indoors hydroponic, but it dies. It does take a lot of your time to monitor pH levels, adding nutrients, changing water, pest control, etc. I will stick to outdoor gardening. Yeah, I've not done hydroponics. But because that's the other thing I was saying too, is that once you get the garden going, it's relatively self-sustaining. One other thing I have to do is I just have to put some additional chicken wire around because there's some breaches in the fencing, so I can keep the critters out. But I mean, I put tons of marigolds in there, which usually do work really well for keeping critters out. But still, just want to hedge my bets. I'm growing it for me, not the animals. So I've done ginger ale ferment. Ooh, that sounds lovely. Yummy. I hope everyone is having great success with everything. Yes, thank you, Alex. I hope everyone is too. It's the beginning of the growing season, at least here in Michigan. I've got some figs growing over there. I've got some elderberry. If anybody wants to help me out with some elderberry, they're in pots. I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how much space I need for them. I probably need to look up some YouTube videos, but I've got to get those in the ground. Yeah. So plant stuff can change so much from season to season. Yes, it can. Let me see. Feel like I had one more thing. Oh, our nervous system health. I had one more thing. Two more things. Nervous system health will become mainstream. What that means is that we are dealing with burnout, stress physiology, vagus nerve, nervous system regulation. Chiropractors, we've been talking about this for 130 years, is how do we regulate our nervous systems? Because we've got to make sure that we are maintaining more parasympathetic in the face of our busy, stressed out world. And so I do see that, chiropractic is going to trend. We're going to actually explode with regards to being that first line person for the personalized care that people want, really getting people's, to optimize, improving their brain function just through chiropractic care. One, chiropractic adjustments improves frontal lobe capacity. It's crazy. So I think chiropractic is actually going to end up being at the forefront of this whole movement. And then the last trend that I have is you need to become, and you will become, the CEO of your health. So if you think about that, we go back to like doctors before it was, oh, trust your doctor for everything. Like again, my parents' generation, they believed everything their doctors told them. They would not waver from that. The doctors were God, doctor's word was God, and you did not question it. And then that has really shifted. So now people are asking, what actually caused it? What's actually happening? And again, there's too many people walking around saying, I still feel like crap, but my doctor says I'm fine. And so they're now starting to question their doctors. They're starting to question this narrative. And it really comes to the future of healthcare is not about more prescriptions. It's literally about more participation from each and every one of us in an effort to make sure we know as much as we possibly can about ourselves, about root cause, about what is actually causing more damage in our health, and making sure that we're able to tap into um, resources within our body and have a nice healthy foundation so that we can again just optimizing for the future. So all right, that was it. That was my 8 trends for the future. Let me know your thoughts on that, and which one really spoke to you. There was a lot in there, but I think it's important that we pay attention to all of it. And I think we're already seeing a lot of these trends. Some of it are trends that I think will go away, and some of it is literally, I think, the future. I think chiropractors are going to be on the forefront of the future of healthcare because people are just tired of being told that there's nothing that, they're fine. There's nothing they can do, or, having vital organs removed at age 22 when you could have been offered a few more things. My daughter's talking to this young boy, he's a friend of hers. And so, I hope she can get him to have a conversation with me because it's not like lost hope. So I want to make that very clear that people who go through that medical route and they have vital organs removed, we just have to tap in even more. We've got to dive even deeper, and we have even more work to do. And it can be done. And you just have to be prepared for a time commitment because, it doesn't go away overnight. It doesn't get better overnight. Um, and, I think about little bunnies. So cute. I love nature. See, I wouldn't be seeing all this nature if I wasn't sitting out here. But we think about the time commitment. I have a woman who recently came in for a consultation, feeling terrible. Again, doctors telling her everything's fine. She doesn't know what to do. She feels horrible. Turns out she's been on acid blockers for 20, 25 years, something like that. And I'm like, you can't be on that drug for an extended period of time, more than a few weeks, without experiencing severe damage. Oh, there's my neighbor. He's coming out with his weed whipper. We almost made it. But she's been under this medical model of care, and I'm like, yeah, you can't, like, that's why you're here. That's why you feel like crap, because your doctors don't know anything outside of that. And so what was interesting was, after I sit with her, and then I will sit with the information and I will do a complete write-up of what I found, what are her goals, what's her history, and what we need to do to be moving forward to optimize everything. It's not like it, and she replied back, she says, wow, that's a lot. And I said, it is a lot, but it's different. It seems a lot because it's different from what you're used to. You have been working in the model of, I have a symptom, here's a pill. Simple. That's simple. I'm giving you the model of, here's why you needed that pill in the first place. Here's why you got that symptom in the first place. You've had this for 30 years, and we need to go so far upstream to be able to get to the root cause. And here's how we're going to do it. It's going to take time, and there's going to be a commitment, a time commitment, a financial commitment. So yeah, it's a lot. And she wasn't saying it's a lot from a financial perspective. It was just like the whole process. I'm like, yeah, it's different from what you're used to. So holistic care, you're going to start seeing more of that, more of this comprehensive style of care that's going to be more effective. So Lily's answering me about my elderberry. A very large bush, can grow anywhere from heights from 5 to 12 feet. Does it need a trellis? Because I can put it in the ground. Does it need a trellis? I don't think it needs a trellis, does it? I've heard of people growing them like alongside of sheds or chicken coops because the chickens like them. Anyway, yes, Tio, pill pushers for sure. And Lily says, now that's care for your health. Yes. And quick fixes it's all our society is. So, okay. My neighbor's out with his weed whipper. It's 7:20. I'm at about half battery. I did it. I'm outside. Now, at least I know where I need to sit right below the puck. Got to sit right below the puck. But yeah, I've got a full signal here. I was looking at, and you know what? See, I'm still connected to the inside internet. So that's weird. I got to figure that out. And I'm looking at my video here, and oh yeah, it was really blurry until I moved over here. So okay, you guys. Okay, it doesn't need a trellis. Should hold itself up. Okay. All right, I'm gonna find a place to put it. I'll keep you guys posted. Keep it posted. Okay. Okay. That's it. That's all I got for you. I won't be here next Sunday. I'm taking a girls trip up north. I will be with Dr. Erica. We might have some antics coming. So, have an amazing week. And yes, I think what they're spraying in the sky is not only messing with our gardens, but it's messing with human health. And it's crazy. So, also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share. If you are coming in from It's All About the Biology, please jump over to my channel, Dr. Paula Ruffin, and subscribe. And if you are on Dr. Paula Ruffin, jump over to It's All About the Biology, and let's just get some cross promoting. So, girls trip, more breakdancing. Woo, woo, woo. It's going to be fun. It's going to be we're going to be silly. So, all right, you guys, have an amazing week. Oh, we also will not be here on Thursday for Chiropractic is Sexy, because I have an event that day and it's my only day to pack for my weekend with the girls. So you won't see us until the following week. All right. Thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate all of your insight and your questions and your engagement. And I love you all. So we'll see you in 2 weeks.